Hey everybody, welcome back to NickyT.live. I'm your host Nick Taylor, and today I'm hanging out with my friend Kilian. Kilian, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's getting close to the Christmas holidays for me, like a bunch of people, and I can feel my body slowly telling me that it's been a good year, but it's been busy, but it's time to
hmm
rest.
I get
So
that.
that's where I'm at, but I'm feeling good. I'm really excited to talk about what we're gonna chat about today. But what about yourself? How are you doing?
Much the same. So I'm winding down for the end of the year. I have one more Polypane release that I want to get out, which
Hmm.
I'll do tomorrow. Um, I sort of wanted to try and like stretch that over the holidays, but at the same time, I can't really help myself. Like I have cool stuff that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need to release. Like I'm not gonna sit on it for 2 weeks just because you know something like Christmas. Um, so I'll be doing that, and then hopefully for the rest of the year, just taking it slow, eating lots of nice things, drinking lots of nice things. I just today filtered out the bramble gin that I made.
Okay,
So that's
I'm coming over. It's-
that's very Christmassy. Um, But so usually that's sloe gin, but we don't have sloes here in the Netherlands. I have
okay.
brambles in my garden, and I had a bunch left over. So they've been soaking in gin for a long time, and now they're in very pretty bottles.
Ah, cool, cool. Also, just want to say hi to Trust Codes and Roxy in the chat. Haven't 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 seen you in a minute, Trust Codes, but great to have you here, and always good to see you, Roxy. Yeah, so yeah, I guess let's kind of dig into it. I know probably some of the people in the chat know what Polypane is, but like even
hmm
before we dig into MCPs and all that,
Yeah.
let's kind of go back in time a bit and like for people new to Polypane or even if they have been Polypane users, I
hmm
guess let's give a quick recap of why you would use something like Polypane.
Yeah, sure. So I used to say that Polypane is a browser, but it's for developers, and that's sort of technically true. But a lot of people then go, well, I have a browser,
Yeah,
and why would I need another browser? Because Chrome's pretty good, and that's true. Chrome is really good. But the metaphor that I usually use is if you're a programmer, then you probably don't use Word to write your code, even though Word is an amazing text editor. Like there are
yeah,
very few programs that are as good at editing text as Word or processing text as Word.
yeah,
But it's a general purpose tool for people writing things. It's not a specific tool for developers writing code. And the same thing is true for the major browsers.
hmm,
So Chrome, Firefox, Safari, of course, they all have DevTools, but they try
yeah,
really, really hard to make sure that normal people don't accidentally open them because they'll think they're hacked and then they'll call
yeah,
us and then we have to explain that. And that's just annoying for everyone involved.
yeah,
So
totally.
Polypane sort of flips that around. Um, the idea being, what if the entire app is your DevTools? What does the browser then look like? What are the problems that you as a developer, as a front-end developer, uniquely have that you can build stuff for? So in Polypane, uh, it started out as a tool to help with responsive design.
Hmm.
We all know that we should be resizing our browser all the time, but we don't because it's super annoying and it's linear work. So you build something, you test all the versions, you build something new, you have to test all the versions again.
Yeah,
Inevitably, at some point, you're going to go, it'll be fine. And of course, that's the point where it's not fine. And you find that out like a week later when it's been live for a week and broken
yeah,
on some user's device, and they're now telling you that it's broken. That's not good. So what if you just had an overview of all the different screen sizes that you care about, and then anything you do in one screen size happens in all of them? So you're not doing
Yeah.
extra work. You're not doing extra resizing. You're not linearly checking each design one or each screen size one by one. You just build your site and you happen to see it at all the various ways that
Hmm.
people consume your website. And then that sort of grew into, well, there's more than just screen sizes that people experience your website in. There's also things like light and dark mode. Do you want to flip your entire operating system every time you need to check a light or dark mode?
Hmm.
No, you don't, because you have your OS set to the way you like it, and it should be much easier to test websites in the other mode, in the other color scheme.
Hmm.
Same for accessibility, same for performance. So all these various ways that your website can be watched or interpreted,
Yeah.
I try to make really easy, really accessible, so that you don't waste any time or forget embarrassing things.
Yeah, yeah, and Trusk, it's Alex. Sorry, I'm used to the Twitter handles or the whatever handles. Yeah, Trusk is a big fan of Polypane. Just lots of stuff jam packed there. There's even like, I remember when I had an issue with social cards, I was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that too. So like,
Mm-hmm.
there's um, like where I'm at right now, I'm still building stuff with front end because I need to build demos and stuff. But it's and I'm doing some product work too. But I'm mainly developer advocate right now. So like, there's stuff. I feel like there's still a million things in Polypane that I'm probably not aware of. But yeah, okay. So we know what Polypane is, and I can go ahead and I'll share my screen real quick here. Uh, ba, ba, ba. So we can see I have Polypane open here with my site nikiT.live. This is where I have like my schedule and stuff. So to your point about where you're saying, like, I'm not loading this up a million times. This is just Polypane loading it up in the different. I went with like 11 default ones here,
Yeah.
but essentially, to your point, like if I click on stuff, like, well, actually those links go somewhere else. But if I go to here, it should, I believe, update everything. Yeah. So it's.
Yeah.
And I know you said it, but this is where it becomes really obvious. Like, you want to see, like, okay, how does this actually look on that screen size, and it really does help. Like I this is something I know I need to fix, but I should really have a hamburger menu for the smaller sites. Like,
I
it's
mean,
still accessible, but
yeah,
I don't know.
like it doesn't break. There's no horizontal scroll bar. I know that because if there was, Polypane would have told you that there was a horizontal scroll bar.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I didn't
Yeah,
know it does that.
so
Okay.
it automatically detects that, and that's especially interesting for users on Mac, which have overlays scroll bars everywhere. So they
Hmm.
don't see the scroll bar unless you start scrolling horizontally, which is not something that you naturally do. But on
Yeah.
Windows, you get this like chunky, ugly scroll bar at the bottom of your screen.
Okay.
And you want to avoid that. And like, you don't need a hamburger menu for that. I think this is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, a part of it was like I was just like I just wanted to ship this, but also it like, to me, I was still like, it's still fine. Like, I went with like a very minimal design, and I decided to go with pink to just be different.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So we kind of have an idea of Polypane, and like there's obviously all kinds of tools. You can open up the developer tools, and I guess we'll get to MCP and stuff. But the
Hmm.
developer tools we see here are not like they look like the Chromium developer tools, but they're not exactly, right.
Yeah. So Polypane is built on Chromium. And that's pretty nice because then you instantly see the web page is the same as like 95% of your users. But Chromium is built in a way where one tab has one page, which makes sense. But in Polypane, that's not the case. And that means in Chrome, one page has one DevTools.
Yeah.
So that means that if you edit stuff in DevTools, that will only ever apply to one pane, which is annoying because you want to make sure that any changes you make or any inspections you do happen everywhere. So
Yeah.
I built my own elements panel, and
Nice.
then like for good measure, I didn't make a copy of the Chrome Dev Tools because I think I know better. Or at least there are problems that I have with the Chrome Dev Tools that I can solve for myself,
Okay.
to make it more of a like a cockpit. So the center bit there where it shows you like very chunky the element information.
Yeah.
I call that the navigator, and it's basically like there's a bunch of stuff you always want to do with the selected elements, and figuring out what is the selected element in other dev tools is kind of annoying because you have to look at the tree view and then squint like which has the slightly darker background. And now
Yeah.
it's just there, and you instantly see information you care about, like colors, fonts, dimensions. You can pop open the box model if you want. And
Yeah.
then from there, a fairly recent addition, I think a year or so now, is the debug tab in here, which is
Okay.
if you go to the style portion down there, there's tabs. One of them is debug. And then in that panel are just like properties of your elements that often cause issues. So if you have a
Hmm.
layout issue, one of the things that you do is you go through the style tab or through the computed styles to find your display value. Like, is
Yeah.
this display in line, and is the margin not working there for that reason? And you don't want to go through like a list of hundreds of things and having to type to filter it down. Uh,
Hmm.
a browser for developers knows that like 90% of the time bugs are caused by display position, pointer event, set index,
Yeah.
and the wrong font rendering. So why not just show all that information like right up front, and make it really
Okay.
easy to debug, to get to that info. So I
Yeah.
try to do all this like smart work, um, and that shaves hours off of any development project.
Yeah, no, I really like that. I don't know when you added the debug, because like like to your point, I'm always in the computed. It's like you see the styles,
Hmm.
you know, obviously the CSS cascade's gonna cause some issue if you are having an issue. So I go to the computed, and then it shows you what the final one is, and then it shows
Yeah.
you what changed it, and it's manageable. But I like that you're like, hey, you know what? Probably 9 times out of 10, these are the issues. So here you
Hmm.
go. And like, and like side note from Polypane, but like Z index, it's like there's so many times you don't even need a Z index, and people, it's the class. It's like kind of a joke, but like,
Yeah.
okay, Z index 1, 2, 3, and there's even cases where Z index just literally does nothing, depending
Hmm.
on the stacking context. So it's like,
Yeah.
so anyways, but I think this is super smart, and this is obviously based off of experience. But no, that's super cool. Like kind of like shortcut to just be like, okay, right away. That's the
Yeah.
problem. Yeah. Okay. So we have so these are bespoke dev tools. Obviously, they're
Hmm.
familiar looking to the actual dev tools. Um, and you can also go this one here, the dev tools here. I haven't been in
Hmm.
Polypane in a while because I've been doing a lot of infrastructure backend
Yeah.
stuff. But for the dev tools here, what would I expect to see here normally?
Yeah, so this is just the spot where the regular Chromium DevTools are,
Okay. Yeah.
and then you can select which pane to open those for because they have that one-to-one mapping. Um,
Oh, okay.
they're still here because I mean I am shipping Chromium, so it would be weird to like not give you the Chromium DevTools. And
Yeah.
also the
Okay.
Chromium DevTools have like a 15-year head start on me and a team that's at least twice as big as my team,
Yeah.
which is me. So
Yeah.
they have a lot of features that I don't think are important or that I haven't gotten to yet,
Yeah.
that you might need. And then if you need those, they're still available.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and I think that's smart that you don't load them automatically because there's probably a bit of a burden to loading them up maybe, but
There
and I
is,
like
yeah.
that you can laser focus on the particular one. And I mean this goes to the architecture too. Like I remember because we hung out on a live stream I think like a year and a half ago, and like I think
Hmm.
Polypane originally wasn't like these are actual individual web views now, not
Yeah.
like iframes, but they're like native views, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Like there's no way you'd want to load up. Like I have 11 panes open right now. If I loaded 11 dev tools, that would even though I have a pretty decent computer, I feel like that would probably slow things down. So
Yes. Yes. So DevTools do also come uh, at a cost. So I have to be clever with like managing them and which do I keep open, which do I secretly close, etc. Because you
yeah.
don't want to uh, like lose the focus in a DevTools. So if you have an element selected in your DevTools and you go do something else, you come back, you want that
Mhm.
same element to still be focused. You still want the console to be filled with your logs, etc.
Yeah.
So that's all taken care of.
No, that's great. Okay, so we have so the TLDR is we have a pretty solid web development experience working with Polypane.
Hmm.
And so uh I guess on my side of things, so like I've been doing a lot of stuff with Model Context Protocol, MCP, and I remember you dropped me a DM. It might have been maybe a month ago, maybe a few weeks
Hmm.
ago. I can't remember. And you were asking me something about like, oh, I'm trying to get an MCP working uh, with Polypane,
Yeah.
and you're like you weren't sure what to do, and I kind of took a peek at it, and I was like, I'm not sure how to tackle this one, given that it's within Chrome itself or
Yeah.
Chromium. So I guess maybe speak a bit about that. And I'll give a bit of context about MCPs for people if you've never heard of them or you're still fairly new to them. The Model Context Protocol is a way to it can enhance like a chat experience with additional context. Like you can, they're they're called tools. They just happen to be bundled into a server of common tools. So like GitHub MCP is a popular one if you want to do stuff with GitHub. There's the Chrome Dev Tools, which we'll talk about shortly, and that's stuff related to Chrome. And so you can ask your LLM, say you're in Chat GPT or VS Code and Copilot, you have a question, it's going to give you an answer based on its knowledge, but it might not have certain pieces of knowledge because the large language models get trained to a certain date, and the MCP servers can actually enhance that context. So in the case of the Chrome MCP DevTools, I haven't had a chance to use these yet, but they know intimately everything about Chrome and the DevTools, I'm sure. So when you load that MCP server into like VS Code or wherever you're asking questions, it can probably give you better answers, or it can actually do actions for you, assuming you allow it to do it. So that's kind of how MCPs generally work. And there's newer stuff where you can expose UI as well, like ChatGPT apps. I was just speaking to somebody before this, but essentially it's extra tools to help you get better answers or do actions on your behalf in some kind of automated way. So with that, we got Polypane, and you're like, okay, this is Chromium based.
Hmm.
There's a Chrome Dev Tools MCP. I'll just plug it in. Was that kind
Exactly.
of the
Yes.
yeah? Okay. Okay. So I guess like obviously spoiler, you ran into some issues. So I guess maybe speak about that. And like I know you said you got a chance to speak to some of the people on the Chrome Dev Tools team to help
Yeah.
out with this. So
Yeah, so before playing with this MCP, I hadn't used any MCP before, so I didn't really know what it was. Like it was a server you
okay.
started, and then you could do things. Like that was my base level
Yeah.
understanding. So I tried to do that, and the Chrome DevTools MCP actually has really good documentation, so I got it up and running pretty quickly. I
Okay.
even got it connected to Polypane because the way Chrome DevTools MCP works is there's essentially two ways. One is the MCP itself starts a headless browser in the background. So they
Okay.
use Puppeteer for this.
Yeah.
Um, and then they can load pages in that headless browser and then give you feedback. Which is pretty cool. But the other way is you connect to an existing Chromium instance,
Okay.
and then you can interact with the tabs that Chromium instance has open.
Okay,
And
cool.
it does this via the DevTools protocol, which Polypane also supports.
Okay.
So I had it hooked up to Polypane pretty quickly through that DevTools protocol.
Hmm.
And at that point, like I could see panes in Polypane showing my web page, but the MCP couldn't.
Okay.
And that was sort of the issue. Like the MCP could see my browser UI because all of that is written in HTML, CSS, and a tiny bit of JavaScript as well.
Hmm.
So it could interact with the browser itself, but it couldn't interact with the pages in Polypane, with the tabs, as it were.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so that was not ideal. And so I reached out to you as the person that I know that knows the most about MCPs. And then at the same time, I reached out to a few people at Google, like who should I talk to when it comes to the Chrome DevTools MCP? Because I'm trying to hook it up to Polypane,
Yeah.
but it's not showing stuff. And so I got in touch with someone from the team there, and we figured there were like two avenues, like super technical.
Hmm.
Chromium has things that display web pages,
Yeah.
but things that display web pages are of a couple of different types. So they can be page, which is what we have in tabs, but they can also
Hmm.
be other things like settings UI. They get a different type for internals. And then in Polypane,
Okay.
the panes are built on web views. So they get a type web view. And what ended up happening was that Puppeteer, which would interface with the DevTools protocol,
Yeah.
would by default filter out all the web contents that weren't of the type page.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
So it would only return pages, which is a pretty good default.
Hmm.
Uh, it also had a way of specifying which other things to show, but the way the code was set up was in such a way that it would do that, and then it would still filter down to pages before sending it along in the return value.
Okay.
So the problem wasn't actually in the MCP, because that just did a "Hey Puppeteer, give me all the pages" API call.
Yeah.
But it was in Puppeteer, which had this additional option where, or this additional filter. So they added a new property to that function in Puppeteer, where you
Okay.
could instruct it like, just, give me all the things, because I'm interested in
Okay.
web contents, not in things
Yeah.
deemed page. And then they also updated the Chrome DevTools MCP to be able to set that option in the configuration, and then to have that propagated to Puppeteer. And at that point,
Okay.
everything worked.
That's awesome.
Um, and from there, it was like all my uh, my my problems on my side,
Okay.
which is that all the things in Polypane are web contents.
Hmm.
But if you're debugging your own site and you're using an LLM and you want to get like live feedback from the browser, then you don't want to have the LLM give opinions on the Polypane UI,
Oh,
or
okay. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
or inspect that to give you feedback, because that's not useful. So I needed to build some way to filter that out.
Okay.
So I wrote this really convoluted system prompt, or at least I think it's convoluted. It might be fine,
Okay.
but it feels convoluted. That sort of nudges LLMs into, from the output that the Chrome DevTools MCP gives me, what is actually relevant
Okay.
for the user, knowing that they use Polypane, because LLMs know quite a lot about Polypane, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. Not everybody's app is known well.
Yeah, so I chalk that up to being really diligent about all my documentation for the past 6 years.
Okay.
Um, it's the same with SEO. Like I've been really diligent, like writing articles and doing SEO for the past 6 years, and now
Hmm.
ChatGPT, like 4% of my conversions are people that where ChatGPT specifically told them go use Polypane.
Okay.
So that's pretty
That's
nice, and that's
that's
because
pretty awesome.
yeah, because I've been like writing about that for a long time, and now I get like additional surprise benefits. So that's that's pretty
Yeah.
nice. Um, so that's where we're at now, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's cool. And I guess like yeah, to give some context, you didn't want the LLMs trying to critique the Polypane UI itself. And the reason why that was a problem is that because the Chrome Dev Tools. Because I guess to give some context, Polypane is an Electron app. So an Electron app is Node.js with Chromium.
Hmm.
So the actual UI is a view as well.
Yeah.
And within that you have the web view. So you basically had to say this particular view, which yes, Chromium can do
Hmm.
things with. Ignore that basically.
Yes.
Uh, okay.
Yeah, and then for the other ones, so if you have three panes open and they all show the same URL,
Yeah.
if you do stuff with them, if you're like, make the heading twice as large,
Okay.
you want that to happen in each of those web contents. And the way Chrome MCP is currently set up is it just sort of like latches on to one tab, which
Okay.
again is perfectly reasonable, but
Yeah.
not the way Polypane works. So there's additional instructions where you can latch onto one tab, but then all the
Okay.
other like quote unquote tabs that have the same URL
Yeah.
pretend they're all the same thing
Okay. Yeah.
because they
No, that
are,
makes
and
sense.
then it sort of it loops over all the panes and makes repeats the changes without you having to instruct like now go to this pane and do the same thing. Now go to this pane and do the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I guess we'll definitely I'll share my screen again in a second. But so I guess how is the flow right now? Like you're saying, it's using the I guess the Chrome debug protocol. That's why
Yeah,
like that's how VS Code can also do debugging and
exactly.
stuff.
Yes.
So um so the setup would be, and I'll do this in a second, but I'll install the Chrome DevTools MCP and VS
Hmm.
Code, and then we start Polypane's running obviously right now, and then I guess we'll go from there. But I'm just curious, like, do I
Yeah.
say like where's my Polypane, or like I'm
Um,
curious how it knows kind of.
yeah. So the way connecting to an open or to a Chromium instance works, and Polypane is a Chromium instance.
Yeah.
So the way that works is you have to start that Chromium instance with a remote debugging port. So when you
Okay.
start Polypane, you specify that as a command line option.
Oh, okay.
And from that point on, like the Chromium instance has a remote URL that VS Code or Chrome MCP or other Chromes can connect to and then inspect through the
Okay.
DevTools protocol.
Okay.
So that's on the Polypane side. Like you have to start it with this command line option. And then
Okay.
in the MCP side, you basically say like, this is the remote port that I want you to connect to.
Okay. So I guess we can get started with that then. Like I closed Polypane because I need to launch it from
Hmm.
from the shell.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to paste the command I should run in the
Oh,
private
yes.
chat there.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it is a fairly long one
okay, yeah,
on Mac specifically. Oh, and also I need to put a space in front of it. So
okay,
on Linux, the
yeah,
Polypane app is just available globally. So you can open any terminal and type Polypane, press enter, and it opens.
okay,
But on Mac and Windows, that doesn't happen automatically.
Okay.
So you have to do the full path.
Okay. There we
And
go.
then on Windows, that's pretty easy because it's just to the exe. But
Okay.
Mac apps are actually just like fancy folders. So you can't connect to the fancy folder. You have to go dig into the app folder and find the actual executable.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a cleverer way to do that, but then you would have to first set that up.
Okay. All right, so I got Polypane that opened here. It opened, of course, on my other screen, but okay. So Polypane's running. I'll come back to VS Code here. Okay, I'll just close the shell for now.
Yeah.
Why is that not closing? There we go. Okay, and I'm gonna need to install the Chrome MCP Dev Tools.
Yeah, so for that, I have, so we can do it two ways. I have a one-liner that does it through the CLI, or we can do it through the UI.
We can do either. Yeah, feel free to drop the.
Yeah.
We can share the CLI after, or sorry, the UI after.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, let me just. I don't know why my chat's making me copy your name as well, but that's okay. Here.
So you'll have to check if that works.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop this out. Hold on a sec. There we go. It cut off stuff.
Yeah, I'll send it in like two. So that's one. Notice the comma at the end.
Yeah,
it's basically just doing the like the JSON you would write manually. It dumps it in there.
Yeah, I got into a weird view. I've never been in my thing here, and I don't want to close it. Okay, escape. Will that work? No. Okay, you want to send it on Blue Sky, just because it's cutting it off for some reason.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll just open up that. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, and feel free to just drop other stuff in Blue Sky. I did something to our video UI, and I don't want to close it right now. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, because when I copied it, it cut off stuff. Okay, cool. So we got that's still running.
Make sure that I just copy the entire line in one go.
Cool.
There you go. So essentially, you can run code and then -- add MCP.
Okay, so it's going to open up a new VS Code. Oh no, it's adding.
In a terminal. So I'm not sure if code is registered on Mac, but let's find out.
You know it is. I have it set up. Okay,
cool.
I see what it's doing. It's updating the MCP JSON file. Okay, yeah. So that's just for. I probably could have just done that, but yeah, basically just there's a JSON file with all the MCPs, so it should have just added it. Yeah, well, there's some stuff I've been testing for work. I'll take these out for now, actually, because I don't need them. I don't think we need Terraform for this live stream, do we? I don't think so. Okay, there, and we don't need Playwright at the moment. And I heard actually the Chrome Dev Tools is pretty solid. So, okay, so that's running. I'm gonna go ahead and start it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's running now. Okay, so all right, so we've got Polypane running with the debug port, port 5858 that you sent.
Yeah.
That's over here. We've added the MCP server, so I can exit that. And so the MCP server is registered now. So if I come into the tools here, I'm gonna just remove a lot of stuff here for now. Okay, we want the Chrome Dev Tools. I'm just gonna turn off a bunch for now, just because we don't need them right now. And I'll leave the built-in ones because those are usually helpful. Okay, so we've got the Chrome Dev Tools, and it's got I won't go through all of them here, but there's a bunch of tools that you can use in it. And we'll just click OK here. Okay, so we're all set up. I think I have access to the MCP server now. So I guess this is the part these parts I understand. My next question is like, if we're speaking about Polypane,
Yeah.
like how does, I know there's the debug protocol to talk to
Mm-hmm.
Polypane. I guess so. I guess it automatically, as soon as we start using the MCP server, it will know that it's just Polypane, or
No, so what you can do now in the Copilot chat is
yeah.
to ask it to list all the open pages.
Okay. All right. And
And this is
that's
assuming that you have sort of like a relevant mapping from the project you have open in VS Code to the URL you have open in Polypane.
oh, okay. Okay. Let me open up a relevant project, because if not, I got to see what I have here. Okay, I do have it still. Is it? Oh no, it's not there. Okay, I might have to clone it. So we might have to restart VS Code, but that's okay. Let me just check what I have.
Mm-hmm.
Dev open source. Okay, I don't have it. So just trying to see if there's anything. No, these are MCP servers, which won't be helpful right now. Okay, let me just go ahead and clone my repo. I think I had
Sure.
taken it off my work laptop. Okay, so GitHub, not GitHub, nikt.live. Okay, and I'm just
And
gonna.
then, yeah, what will happen is if you ask it to list all the pages, it will list everything, including the Polypane UI, because we haven't
Okay,
yet configured it to be like conceptually aware of Polypane.
okay, gotcha. All right, yeah, okay. I'll have to restart the debug server in a sec, but just let me clone this. Internet's pretty fast, so this should go pretty quickly. Okay, let me switch changes to, okay. I see it dropped the prompt too. I'll check that in a second. Okay, all right, code. -R is my favorite. Reuse the same VS Code. Okay, we've got the MCP server loaded up, so let's just get the 5858. There we go. Which one is it? Yeah, here we go. Okay, so we've got the debug port running. Polypane is backup. This is that's the live site, but let me open up the local one. Would help if I'm in the right npm install. That's okay. That's we're live coding, live debugging, but no, okay. There we go. What's it not liking now? Sharp fail. That's like that node.
Yeah.
Node
So
chip.
we can use the live site because it will still have it can still find things.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. So let's assume that I did have like other stuff, but okay. And let me just zoom this in a bit. Okay. So I'll say list all open pages.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just gonna double check that. Okay, the Chrome Dev Tools is there. Okay, it's all right. So it should make a tool call. Okay, yeah. So it goes, okay, I know. Okay, perfect. Okay, so obviously it's the same page for all of them, but and it says the first pane is selected, which is obviously over here.
That's correct, but you can see that like 12 and 13 and 14 are all internals.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, and that it selected one tab because like Chrome is all about tabs, and one tab is always one URL. So what we now need to do is sort of instruct your Copilot that like 1 through 11 of these minus 10 are actually all the same thing, and we want to pretend that they're the same thing, and we want to ignore the Polypane internal pages.
Okay.
Because you're not inspecting and editing and working on those. You're working on your own site, and you don't want to be bothered with that. So I have a system prompt that I wrote for that I sent over. that I'm probably doing a lot of really dumb things in. And we can go over that.
Yeah, sure. I'll just open up the prompt here and I
Mhm.
imagine will we add this to Copilot commands and markdown file or
Yeah.
okay. So let's just paste in your prompt here. Okay, so let me just get some real estate back here so we can just walk through this here and I'll just okay. So the top part here, this is specific to Copilot
Yeah.
instructions, but okay, so we don't have to read it verbatim, but like, okay, so you're letting it know it's connected to Polypane. I guess I'll let you walk through what you've done in
Yeah.
the prompt here.
Yeah. So the way I approached it, like a general and getting increasingly more specific. So first is setting, like giving it some of the terms that Polypane uses, so
Okay.
that it knows like it is a browser. In Polypane, things are called panes. This is what they do. This is why someone uses it, so that it knows to connect the same concepts like viewports, debugging, etc.
Okay.
Then it lets or it explains like which ones to hide. So any internal Polypane UI starts with file, or it contains a specific substring like resources app asr, which is where all the Electron files are located, or it
Yeah.
starts with the Polypane protocol. So those are all different ways that internal pages are made available through the DevTools protocol. And
Okay.
then I tell it to never mention this filtering. I tried doing it in caps; it didn't make a difference.
Yeah.
So no caps this time. Um, then I make sure that it knows that if a bunch of things have the same URL, treat them as one.
Okay.
And something that doesn't always work, but each pane in Polypane has a da- dash dash Polypane object on window with all sorts of relevant information,
Yeah.
including the title of the pane. So you can have like an iPhone 16 pane and an iPad pane and a laptop pane, and the MCP can read out that window.polypane.title to figure
Okay.
out which is the one I'm looking at, which would be nice, but it doesn't really do much with that. Um, Probably also because the MCP needs to do like an execute JavaScript call to get to that
Hmm.
information, and it tends to not do that unless specifically told,
Okay.
which I'm sure is like logical. Um, and then it tells the MCP like if you do anything, make sure that it happens on all the things with the same URL,
Okay.
because that's what the user looking at this wants. And then when you do reporting, so you've analyzed stuff and it goes the other way around, make sure that you tell the user which pane you found the issue on. And you can
Okay.
identify it in this way.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So also just want to give a shout out to Henri Helvetica, who's in the chat. Hi.
Hi.
Um, yeah, no, this is cool, and this is the kind of thing like you'll probably improve this prompt over time because you're gonna run into things and you're gonna like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, I need to add this now, or maybe you can tweak it a bit more. It's what one thing I find for prompts is I use like I find Claude models, sorry, Anthropic models are really good. So like the Claude Sonnet, like I would probably take this prompt you wrote, and I would
Yeah.
say I would just literally ask it, could this prompt be improved? Like you give a bit of context, like
Right.
what Polypane is and stuff, and it,
Hmm.
it usually can help. Obviously, you have more specific domain knowledge about the app because you built it, so
Hmm.
that can help too. But I mean, it seems pretty solid. I mean, you have it working with this right now, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so we have this prompt, and I need to save this as a file. Is it under? I can't remember. Is it under .github? Uh,
I never remember. and there's like a couple of different places. So where I've put it
Yeah.
is through the chat settings, you can add instructions,
Okay, yeah.
and then you
Okay,
can
let's do
save
that.
it as an instruction. And I'm not sure where that gets loaded, but it gets loaded. So that makes me,
Yeah.
that's good enough for me.
Yeah,
I
there we
guess
go.
it's
Oh yeah, it is
easier.
instructions. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
Okay,
guess
we'll
it's
call it
easier if you have
Polypane.
like a GitHub folder or a skills.md, which
Yeah.
is a little more direct.
Yeah. It looks like it
And
guided me to the right place. So it ended up creating it under .github's
oh yeah,
instructions. Okay. So we have the prompt now,
hmm,
and I can probably ask the same thing again now, and it should
yeah,
give me a better answer. So I'm
yeah.
gonna be lazy and I'm just gonna redo the
Redo.
question. Okay, so we've got our additional prompt instructions.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, so already we're getting a better answer. Like, all are open and they all have the same URL. And your instructions said, let you know if that's the case.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah,
already
so
we got a
one
cleaner
thing that
answer.
I've been trying to get it to do is not mention that it filters out pages, because it's that's like not relevant.
Okay,
But
yeah.
I've not been able to get it to like do that. It
Okay,
sometimes
gotcha.
it'll even say like in the return, like I filtered out pages, but I won't mention that because of my instructions. We're like, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, yeah. I know he said I shouldn't, but also just wanted to say hi to Code and Crochet. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Um, Yeah, yeah, that's Maggie. Hey, Maggie, good to see you. I got to see her at Commit Your Code in Texas earlier this year.
Oh, nice.
Um, okay, so we've got like just to give context for people who might have just joined. That's not what we want to look at. We want to go back to where is Polypane? Did it? Oh, here we go. Um, so it's been able to detect those, and I'm just going to
Hmm.
move something off the screen so we don't get inception with my OBS, and we can close this. And I'll put these side by side so it's just a little easier, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll just leave this open a bit more. One thing with live streaming is you always want to make it as big as possible for people to
Hmm.
read, but then sometimes making it too big makes it unmanageable. So
Yeah.
okay, I think that's okay. So so we've got the tool here now. So I guess what are some things we could do? So like I haven't really used the Chrome Dev Tools, but I
Hmm.
obviously you can ask certain things about the page. So like I guess for you right now, like you obviously implemented this.
Hmm.
What are some things you typically do when you're working with Polypane and the Chrome Dev Tools MCP?
Yeah, so it's the way I approach it is, when I work, there's a feedback loop where I build something, I look at it in the browser in Polypane,
Okay.
and I try, if something's broken, I try to figure out where it's broken, and then
Okay.
I go back to my code and I fix it, and that's my loop. Um, with the MCP, you can have it do that loop.
Okay.
Um, for example, now you can go, and you can ask it, like, it says Nikki T live. Um,
Yeah.
please update that to Nikki and Kilian live,
Okay. Okay.
and
Okay. Gotcha.
use a different font, and then
Okay.
it
Yeah.
will start doing that for me. Um, and then you
So I
can
could do
just
something like
do,
this. Like, could I ask something like that?
yeah.
Okay. Uh, both are true, but yeah. Okay. So I'm just curious to see it work here now. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just gonna allow forever. Leave it up
Hmm.
to people to decide what they want to do, but
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just gonna trust what it's doing. Okay. So took a snapshot. Yeah. I'm gonna go to YOLO mode for now for the live stream.
Yeah, it does ask permission for all the different, like DevTools API calls that it does.
Okay.
Um, because this is still a live website or a web page. So if you are scared of things like prompt injections and you happen to be using Polypane for managing your banking, then one, don't. That's a terrible
Yeah.
idea. And two, then you don't want your MCP to have unfettered access to like real data. But if you use Polypane the
Yeah.
way it's intended, which is, you are working on your own pages, then you can be pretty safe that the MCP won't accidentally like wire transfer all your money to the other side of the world.
Okay. Make all headings blue. I don't know. I'm just trying stuff here.
Yeah, but it's stuff like that, and that's so what then happens is the LLM recognizes that that is something that you need to write some custom JavaScript for, and it can do that. Like it can do a document query selector, blah 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 blah, and then the MCP has instructions on executing that JavaScript, and that's also why it will ask permission and show you, like, I'm going to run this bit of JavaScript to do the thing you want to do. Is that okay?
Okay. Okay. It looks like it didn't change it to blue. Maybe I'm not asking the right question. Let's see. Like I could say add a JavaScript alert or something.
So what you could try like changing the background color, but what
Okay.
you could also try. So what I've seen, sometimes it gets lazy and it reverts back to that one tab thing. So
Oh,
there might
okay.
be one tab where everything is blue,
Okay.
and you can like gently remind it of its instructions, and then it picks them up again.
Okay.
So all of that feels a little floaty.
Okay. Let's try here.
And then sometimes you can also just like explicitly tell it, do it in all panes, and then
I
it'll
wonder if
do
it did
that.
it to the last. Oh, it changed the last one, or it was on a different one. Okay, so it was actually doing the changes. I thought it wasn't changing them.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it got lazy, and didn't apply them to this. Looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's I'm all about color contrast and accessibility, so that was a really important change. Okay, so I could be more specific. Change uh all panes to the background to
Hmm.
background color to blue. Okay, let's see that happen. Okay, so it's selecting the
Yeah.
pages. Okay, it's running. Okay, now it's running the scripts. Okay, I bet you it did one only. Okay, let's try again. I bet you it's still doing the one. And this is the thing with prompting is you like
Hmm.
maybe there's something that needs to be tweaked, right?
Yeah.
Change background color to pink. I'm assuming it's just gonna change all panes for the
Yeah.
background
What you can
color to
kind of
pink.
see happening here is that like it lists the pages, and then
Yeah,
it selects all the pages, and then it makes the change.
yeah. So
But
it really
but it
seems to love the 600 pixel one.
Yeah, but so what happens is that like select page only selects a single page. It doesn't select all the pages. But the
Oh,
MCP
okay,
or the LLM, things like I can select pages because the thing is
okay,
called select pages or select page, and
okay,
then do the apply. Whereas what it should be doing is like select page, make change, select page, make change, select page, make change.
okay. Yeah, and this is where the prompt can be used. I can say iterate through all pages,
Hmm.
and when reference to the page, when you have a reference to the page, change to the pane, not page. Change its background color to pink. This is also making me think of something whenever you get around to documentation for this is it'd be good to have like a bunch of examples of like, this is how you do
Mm-hmm.
this, So, so, and so to be clear here, this is not Polypane not working. This is just the MCP server. Maybe we just got to improve some prompts, but let's see here. We'll say green and I'll say um, select the first pane. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But like regardless of what's happening here right now, the cool
Mm-hmm.
thing is we're able to, with the MCP dev tools now, actually manipulate stuff in here. And
Yeah.
I guess like we don't have my live code associated with it right now,
Mm-hmm.
but if you wanted to do that with the live code, do you use like I know Chrome has that where you I forget the feature, but in the dev tools you can have like a local version
Yeah.
that
Local
loads.
overrides.
Yeah. So is that how you would approach it, or would you have it like I'm just wondering how you would try things
Mm-hmm.
out, like because if we have the actual source code where I say like I really want to make my site inaccessible, so make the background the same color as the buttons or
Yeah.
something, it'll
Yeah.
do
So
it in Polypane, but then how does it reflect in the actual code?
yeah. So like there's two ways around that. Like most people will have like a live reloading or hot reloading system set up.
Okay, yeah.
So you would just let the MCP make the change in your code, save, and then Polypane refreshes, and you can see the change there. And what then becomes interesting is that you can then use information from Polypane to reflect back to verified changes. So you
Okay.
could like build an MCP prompt where you can say like make the changes in this and this file, and then when you've done that, find this element on the page and validate that it's still visible or it has sufficient
Okay, I
color
see.
contrast, or so it's things you would normally do manually, you can now let the MCP do for you in a tighter loop.
Okay, gotcha.
And
No,
then
that's
the other
super
way
cool.
around would, of course, be like you can YOLO changes in Polypane,
Yeah.
um, and like iterate there. And then once you are happy with what it has iterated on a live page, you can be like, okay, now make a snapshot of this, figure out what changed, and then like give me a list of the changes or apply these
Okay.
changes for me locally.
Okay. No, that's super cool. And so I don't know. This is, I guess, a few takeaways here. Is one, always ask because you never know. People will help.
Yes,
um, and well, Chromium's open source, and so is Puppeteer, and I'm assuming the
hmm
Chromium DevTools MCP. So
it
open
is. Yeah.
source for the win there. But I think that was really great of some of the people from Google to partner with you
Absolutely.
on this.
Yes.
Uh, Obviously, it's beneficial to your product, but also I think it just shows good faith in the community,
hmm
and but this is pretty cool. I guess, yeah, I guess what's next, like right now I have before we got on the live stream, you sent me a special build of Polypane. Was
hmm
that just to enable some things with the MCP, or is it
No, so MCP uh, works in all versions of Polypane actually.
okay?
Um, though you should always be on the latest version. But I'll be releasing a new version tomorrow, and I have it sitting ready. So I figured I'll just send it over to you because it has some nice performance improvements that make it
Oh, okay.
nicer to use on live streams.
Okay, yeah.
And
Oh,
as
perfect.
I said in the beginning, like I'm very bad at like holding back features.
Okay.
Uh, if I can just like get them out there, and that
Yeah.
makes things easier, um, or at least it
No.
makes my life easier because then
y-
it's not like this only works for me, and
Yeah.
you'll have to wait until I get around to sharing the awesomeness. No. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
just getting it
Oh,
out
that's
there
cool.
as soon as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is pretty awesome. I'm gonna drop a link again to Polypane. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to showcase about it, but like I said, I think this is pretty cool that they teamed
Hmm.
up with you to help sort this out, and
Yeah.
and it probably helps other people potentially too, adding that new
Yeah.
flag.
So it specifically enables like many different Electron apps, not just things that show websites, but any
Okay.
Electron app that is like somewhat complex will have multiple different web contents running at
Okay.
any given time.
Yeah.
And this just enables MCP introspection for all of them, like in one
Okay.
go. So that's really interesting.
Yeah. So, and I guess it benefit like there's a lot of apps that use Electron, Spotify, Slack. I mean, VS Code.
Hmm.
I
Well,
feel like they'd probably use
Spotify
Playwright,
doesn't,
maybe.
but the others do.
I could have sworn Spotify was Electron. Did
Spotify
they
does
switch
use
it?
Chromium,
Okay.
but it uses Chromium Embedded Framework, which is
Okay.
a different thing.
Okay. Okay. Today I learned. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's fun whenever people complain about Electron, like for example, being slow, and they're like Spotify. I'm like, yeah, but that's like you're complaining about Chrome. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
fine, but don't pretend it's something else. It's just rendering web pages can be very complex.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. Cool. Oh, this is awesome. Really appreciate you taking the time to go through the walkthrough. I know it's a little
You
later in the
too.
day where you're at, and one, it's always just a good excuse to hang out too. But
Exactly.
I dropped a link to Polypane. If you've never heard of Polypane, I definitely encourage you to check it out. It's a really great web development tool if you're building any kind of digital experience that leverages web tech. So like you could even be building something in a kiosk. You could probably design it. I hadn't thought of that, but you could probably get the literal dimensions of the kiosk. And
Yes.
so yeah, anyways, it's super
Dimensions, pixel
cool.
ratio, color depth, everything.
Yeah. And there's always new stuff that gets added, and like MCP support here, for example. So yeah, definitely encourage you to check it out. And yeah, thanks so much, Killian, and everybody else. This will probably be the last stream for the year. I'm gonna be off on Christmas vacation starting next Tuesday. So I will definitely see you in the new year. And but appreciate everybody hanging on the stream today. Thanks again, Killian. And if you don't mind just staying on for a second, and
Yeah.
everybody else, we'll see you, yeah, the new year. So take care.
Bye bye.